Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
Alyeska Pipeline Service Company, sustaining Alaska's pipeline and its operations today and into the future.
The National Weather Service.
Welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Percy. Now for tonight's weather for March 25th, 2016. You can follow us also on www.AKwx.noaa.gov, also on Facebook and Twitter. Starting off with tonight's hazards, we have a winter snow advisory here for the upper Kobuk and Noatuk valleys. That'll remain until 6 p.m. Saturday, and look for 3 to 7 inches of snow north of Ambler. And then in the lower Koyukuk and middle Yukon valleys, we have a winter snow advisory as well, and that'll remain until 10 a.m. Saturday. And look for 3 to 7 inches there also, mainly west of Galena. And then on the lower Yukon Valley, we have a snow advisory for snow also, and that's going to remain until midnight tonight. Look for 3 to 7 inches of snow, and that's mainly north of, in the Nuleta Hills, north of Anvik. Starting off the satellite here, put it into the loop. We got a system right here that's bringing a swath of moisture along the southeast panhandle as well into the northern coastal communities. And that's higher clouds spilling over into the Copper River Basin and the Alaska Range. Farther south here, we have another occluded low pressure system that's going to be the next maker coming in here in the next couple days. That's starting to push up into the Gulf later on. For the along the south YK Delta region, we continue to have a weak system right in this region here that has a trailing stationary front along the Brooks Range all the way up to the Arctic village area, as well as the eastern Arctic coast, and that's bringing some snow showers in this region here. Now with this, there is a trailing cold front, and that's bringing some snow showers along with this through the Bering Strait all the way down into the Pribilof Range. And farther out west, we have a strong low pressure system that's bringing this large swath of moisture just south of the western Aleutians, and that'll continue to ramp up things here in the next couple of days. Today's weather, again, here's that weak low pressure system just moving through the YK Delta just like yesterday, and it's pretty weak with this weak stationary front, as I mentioned before, producing some scattered snow showers here near the Seward Peninsula eastward, just south of the Brooks Range. And you get along the Arctic coastline from a Dead Horse eastward to Kaktovik, you have some scattered snow showers and some fog over the Barrow. Over the southeast, we have this trailing cold front that will help to, trough that is, that will help to push out the rest of these clouds overnight. And now it's continuing to bring some light rain along the southeast panhandle. And there is some light rain in the Prince William Sound, as well as this moisture is starting to spill over somewhat into the Anchorage Bowl. Along the Alaska Range, you have some light rain also. And then the Kodiak, you're having some moisture being wrapped around from the secluded low farther south of them. That's bringing in some light rain to the Kodiak Island. And then along the Bristol Bay region in Alaska Peninsula, you have some light rain. And then there's a system farther west, just south of the western Aleutians, at a strong 964 millibar occluded low. So you have a strong gradient here with this trailing occluded front just south of the western Aleutians, and that'll continue to ramp up going in tomorrow. Tonight's forecast, this low pressure system just east of the Seward Peninsula will continue to move farther north, and the weak stationary front draping across the eastern Brooks Range. And that'll bring northeasterly flow along the Arctic coastline, extending over into the Kotzebue Sound. There will be some blowing snow issues along the Seward Peninsula region as you go down through it and just east of St. Lawrence Island, also blowing snow. And then along the YK Delta, again, you're on the backside of this cold front, so you'll have colder winds and scattered snow showers, sometimes numerous. In the southeast panhandle, you're going to have this occluded low pressure system that was previously farther south in the North Pacific that's moved up, and so you have increased pressure gradients resulting in strong southeasterly winds along the southeast panhandle and continued warm swath of rain and temperatures producing rain for that. As you move farther east to the northern Gulf, actually farther west to the northern Gulf, you'll have continued light rain and rain showers as the moisture gets spilling over the Chugach into the Anchorage Bowl. Farther along the Alaska Range and the lower and upper Kuskokwim Valley, you'll have a mixture of rain and snow. Now Saturday's forecast is the occluded low pressure system will continue to strengthen, and as the front will move farther into the central dilution chain, and resulting in, again, a tight gradient through the lower Bering, and you'll have a mixture, a wintry mix here. Look for this to gradually shift over the next, by Sunday, to all snow from Shemya west. And then the southeast, continued double barrel lows, and just west of Hattagwai, and then a weak low pressure system in the northern Gulf there. Continued onshore flow, light rains, nothing to worry about there, just overcast skies. There'll be somewhat of a dry slot here through the Anchorage Bowl, extending up to the Matsu Valley there. And again, that weak low pressure system that's still continuing to track to the northeast there through just south of the Brooks Range, and you have the stationary front. So it's going to continue to bring northeasterly winds across the Arctic Range here and the Brooks Range, and bringing colder air and snow showers throughout all the way down into the YK Delta region. And again, you'll have some blowing snow issues there along the Seward Peninsula. Sunday's forecast, again, this occluded low pressure system south of the chain continues to move eastward, and this front just kind of hangs out there through the lower Bering. Again, the colder temperatures will mix into the, looks like from Shemya west, and possible blowing snow issues there with the strong gradient. As you go farther east along the Bristol Bay region, you have this warm sector extending across the peninsula just south of the Kodiak Island. So that'll bring some warmer air in here. So you're going to have a wintry mix on the Bering side and snow as you get farther the interior of Bristol Bay. Farther north, that low will finally make it just east, just east of the Brooks Range here. Located with a cold front extending through back to the Seward Peninsula. So again, northeasterly flow behind it, so you're going to have snow showers and snow throughout that region for Sunday. The southeast, this high pressure ridge is dominating, so you're going to have pretty much decent conditions. There will be a weak low disturbance moving through the southeast, so in the morning you'll have some light rain, and then look for the conditions to improve throughout the day. Temperatures as 2 p.m. today. Pretty much not surprised. Starting over the southeast, again, this subtly pushed, the warm push of warm air is no surprising that the temperatures are all in the upper 40s here. Sitka coming in at 46. You had a high of 50 over there at Stewart, British Columbia. And then along the northern Gulf here, you're going to have 40 degrees there at well, actually 37 at Middleton Island, and then as you go along, 39 at Seward. You get farther south at Anchorage at 42. Farther south, Homer's coming in at 42. Still, temperatures way up there. Spring-like weather here, 39 at Kodiak, Antioch at 41, and then along the chain, all on the high upper 30s there. For temperatures 2 p.m. for the Arctic coastline, there's no surprising you get that northeasterly winds, colder air in here, so you got the coldest temperatures for the state right there. You have a Point Lake came in at -8, Dead Horse at 0, Barrow at -1. As you go down the Bering Strait region, you're going to have -2 at Tin City. Gamble came in at 9, and then it starts warming up as you get farther south with the warmer air pushing in. Then along the chain, as I mentioned before, pretty much with this low pressure system included way farther south of the western Aleutians, you have that warm air pushing in. So Atka and Adak are at 41, and cooler temperatures at Shemya with the colder air. Tonight's low temperatures. No surprising, the coldest temperature is going to be north with that northeasterly cold air coming in. You got -10 at Barrow, Wainwright at -10, and then as you go farther, it gets a little cooler, -12 there at Point Hope. As you go along the southwest, it'll start warming up, and then along the chain, again, with plenty of warm air and moisture, your lows are going to be a little higher, so they're in the mid-30s here. The southeast, not surprising, again, with the southerly push of warmer air, your temperatures are all going to be upper 30s to lower 40s. Tomorrow's high pressure, again, is going to be this strong southerly push of warm air, so you're going to you definitely spring-like weather here. You got 40s, mid-40s throughout, all the way up here towards Fairbanks, and slightly cooler towards Yukon Valley there, 32 in that region. But again, the coldest temperatures are going to be farther north along the Arctic coastline. Looking at Barrow coming at 0 and Point Lay at -1. And then you go farther, it warms up just a little bit as you get farther south. There at St. Lawrence coming at 12 degrees. Along the Aleutian chain, warmer temperatures coming into the 40s with the, again, that occluded low that's just south of the chain here, western Aleutians, and that's bringing all the easterly southeast flow with warmer air. The southeast, not surprising, again, spring-like weather here. You're going to have temperatures all in pretty much in the mid-40s. Flying weather, IFR to margin of VFR are going to be lowest conditions, again, with this weak low that's pushing up through the interior and a stationary front over the Arctic range here, and a trailing cold front extending down into the YK Delta region. So you're going to have that'll remain like that in the morning as well as you're going into tomorrow. You have also lower conditions here along the western Aleutians with that strong occluded front that'll bring a large swath of moisture into that region. The southeast panhandle, you'll have that weak low pressure system that's moving through, so you'll have some marginal VFR conditions there. For the afternoon, again, as this low pressure system in the interior moves farther north, almost to the Brooks Range, your worst conditions will be, again, along the Brooks Range and along the Arctic coastline. And then also from Dutch all the way out to the western Aleutians there to Shemya, you'll have this large swath of IFR conditions with that occluded front, and then there's going to be a warm front extending just south of the central Aleutians here. Your southeast will continue to have marginal VFR conditions with that weak onshore flow and that weak disturbance pushing through. Tomorrow's flying conditions: Anaktuvik IFR conditions, Adigan IFR, Lake Clark and Merrill VFR, rainy VFR, windy VFR, Isabel VFR, Mentasta VFR, Tanita VFR, Portage VFR, Chillicook and White marginal VFR. And then tomorrow morning's freezing level, it's not surprising that with the colder air moving down, your surface freezing level is moving farther south into the Bering. Again, with this warm front that's trailing through here just south of the central Aleutians, that's why you have warmer heights here, warming freezing levels, ranging from 2,000 to 8,000. Over the north, the Gulf and the southeast panhandle, it's a little higher, again, with the warmer air. Look for these freezing levels to continue to increase also in the next few days. Tomorrow's icing, again, with this trailing weak low pressure system just east of the Seward Peninsula and trailing occluded front up in this region. Stationary front, that is, sorry about that. You're going to have between 2,000 to 9,000 light to occasional moderate, and also along the central to western chain between 4,000 and 9,000 with that system through there. Tomorrow's jet stream, again, you've got that low pressure system, a low upper level low there just south of the western Aleutians. You have a strong northwesterly jet. It becomes somewhat zonal here, and then as you go farther east with that next low, upper level low sitting over the Gulf, the jet stream will transition to more south easterly going into the southeast panhandle. And then you're going to have from the Arctic all the way ascending into the upper Canada region, northwesterly jet 50 to 65 knots. Again, this high pressure here will extend back with a ridge extending back into the Yukon territory. And then there is a high pressure system also just sitting south of of the Kamchatka Peninsula, and that's going to bring a northwesterly jet coming down into Bering Strait, and then we also have a finger easterly jet 85 knots over the western Aleutians. Tomorrow's 9,000-foot winds, these double barrel lows over the southeast, again 15 to 25 knots circling in around these. Stronger jet just south of Hattagawai there, southerly 50 knots, and then the weak flow through the interior here, southwest 15 to 25 knots. The high pressure, weak flow around the high pressure there, extending into the western Bering. A little stronger easterly winds are 30 knots. The strongest winds will be with this low pressure system that's south of the western Aleutians. You have easterly, southeasterly flow 40 to 50 knots. 3,000, again, the strongest winds are going to be over the western Bering with that strong occluded low. You're going to have 60 knots over the western Aleutians, and it starts tapering off to 40 as you go into the central Bering. And then northerly jet 15 knots over the Bering Strait, then it transitions to southwesterly 10 to 15 as you go farther north towards the Arctic coastline. The southeast, you have double barrel lows again, a weak flow around those, 10 to 15 knots, 20 in some spots, and then a weak southeasterly flow as you get to the interior of Juneau. Tomorrow's turbulence, again, are going to be with below 4,000 with this system that's trailing through the western central Aleutians, below 4,000 there at Shemya. And we'll be back after this with your Marines.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary O'Connor with the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation. Thanks to support from the National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health and Alaska Public Media, we are able to bring you hangar flying. This evening, we are pleased to have on our show Erin Hall-Mead. Every year, Erin works with the Scholarship Committee to find the best candidates for our scholarships with the Safety Foundation. Erin, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
The Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation has several scholarships available. Can you tell me about them?
Absolutely. We have 3 scholarships available. We have the Tom Wardley Scholarship, that's a $1,500 scholarship. We have the Virginia Hyatt Memorial Scholarship, $1,500, and we have the Ellen Pontiac Memorial Scholarship for $1,500. So every year, the Safety Foundation gives $4,500 in scholarships to people who have the intention of making commercial aviation in Alaska their career.
And where would people find information about these scholarships?
We are online at www.aasfonline.org, and the information on how you qualify for the scholarship is there, what the prerequisites are, and the application itself is online. The deadline this year has changed. The deadline is March 31st. That's earlier than usual. We've changed because we want to be able to announce our scholarship winners at our spring safety seminar. We want to be able to announce them at the Great Alaskan Aviation Gathering, and this gives people a little more time to plan their fall semester finances if we tell them by the end of March whether they've won or not.
So that deadline of March 31st is coming up quickly.
It's coming up quickly. There's about 5 or 6 weeks left. The application is not long and onerous. It's pretty easy. We ask you to prove that you are in an approved or accredited aviation training program. You must already have your private pilot certificate. This is not scholarships for recreational pilots or private pilots. This is for people who want to do it commercially. Prove to us that you've lived in Alaska for at least 2 of the last 3 years. Your PFD checks are perfect proof. Or a utility bill that goes back a couple of years. Tell us what you're going to do with your scholarship. If you want to send a letter of recommendation, that's terrific too. We do ask that you be at least 30% of the way through the accredited program that you're studying.
So I have a question about people that might be applying for other scholarships as well. There are some other organizations in Anchorage and nationally that give scholarships, and would that disqualify somebody from a scholarship?
Absolutely not. The Alaska Air Carriers Association, the Alaska Airmen's Association, the 99s, which are the Women's Pilots Organization, the Women in Aviation Organization, they all have scholarships available. It's perfectly okay with us if you win more than one scholarship. And you can apply more than 1 year at a time. We have funded people for 2 or more years.
So we've had some fantastic winners in the past. They'd be eligible to apply and win again, correct?
Absolutely. In fact, if you went for your commercial and you decided you wanted to go for something like external load, yeah, put another application in and we'll consider you. We want to give this money away. We want to build the future commercial pilots for Alaska.
And are the applications available only for pilots? What if somebody was working their way through a, say, aircraft mechanics program?
Absolutely. We do award a scholarship for A&P. There's no point in having a bunch of pilots out there if you don't have A&Ps to keep the airplanes in the air. So yes, we are perfectly happy to give one or more of those scholarships to somebody in an accredited A&P program.
Thank you. They still do need to have a pilot's license, though, correct?
Still have to have a pilot's license. That's a basic requirement, absolutely. And I will also say, please fill the application out completely. Please fill it out legibly. Please fill it out in pen. A smudged paper, if we can't read it, we can't evaluate it. And please send all of your supporting documentation at one time, because we don't have time to get back to you and say, hey, we're missing proof of residency. And again, we only have 5 or 6 weeks to get those applications in, so let's go.
And that's going to be days, since the deadline is, can you repeat again for us?
March 31st. Must be postmarked by March 31st. Absolutely. Must be complete, must be legible.
Erin, thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for sharing your information, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the scholarship committee again this year.
Thanks a lot, Mary. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're working on a career in aviation, please see our website and fill out an application. If you'd like to contribute to the scholarship fund, you can contribute directly to the Alaskan Aviation Safety Foundation, or you can contribute through Pick, Click, Give when you file your permanent fund dividend application. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching Hangar Flying. Until next time, fly safely.
Welcome back to your Alaska weather. I'm meteorologist Perry Daney. Starting off with the sea ice forecast, continued coverage here. The sea ice expert mentioned that the ice pack is going to start moving somewhat to the southwest here over the northern western Bering portion. Then over the pretty much from Nunavik Islands along the Kuskokwim Bay here, look for this ice to start falling apart more, and as well as the one in Bristol Bay region to gradually fall apart also. Now starting off with Saturday Marine's forecast, again with this system that's coming up, strong southerly flow of air coming in, you're going to have small craft winds on the outside waters, southerly to southeasterly as you go farther north, and then somewhat stronger in the inside at 35 knots southeasterly, but that diminishes off to small craft as you go farther inland, less than small craft to southerly there at Haines region. For Sunday's forecast, again, you're going to have in the inside waters, you'll have westerly flow to southeast to southerly as you go farther north towards Lynn Canal. And then along the outside waters, you'll have a westerly to northeast flow with the system that's moving in. And your wave heights will be strongest as you get farther south near the Dixon entrance. For Saturday marine forecast for south central, from Prince William Sound, northeasterly flow, and then it shifts to more westerly all the way from the eastern Kenai and from the Bering Island Straits through here, this region, as well as Shelikof and Kodiak, all westerly flow. Along the Cook Inlet, southern and northern, you're going to have southwesterly flow, 15 to 10 knots. And then for Sunday, strong southerly winds are going to be starting to move in here. You're going to have small craft winds here, southerly flow, somewhat southeast going through the Prince William Sound, and then southeast in the inside waters here through the lower Cook Inlet, and then easterly on the northern Cook Inlet. The Shelikof Strait, look for southeast winds. For Alaska Peninsula for Saturday, the Bering side, you're going to have easterly flow, 20 to 30 knots, small craft as you get from Perryville down to Cape Stareshef. On the Pacific side, northwesterly flow here through the Chirikof Island region here, and then southeasterly flow here south of the Shumigan Islands. Sunday marine forecast along the Alaska Peninsula. Again, a small craft southerly flow here for the Sherikoff Island region, and then southeasterly here along the Shumagat Islands, and then easterly to southeast, small craft on the Bering side. And then for Saturday, for the Aleutians, pretty much all easterly flow for the most part. Gale force winds get stronger to storm force winds out here as you get farther out towards Shemya with that strong occluded low pressure system that's going to be moving just south of the western Aleutians. Then for Sunday, they'll start shifting southeasterly on the Pacific side to southerly on the Bering side from AKwx to Dutch. And they shift more northeasterly as you get along from west of Adak to Shemya, and they'll be a little stronger out towards Shemya there at 40 knots. Then for west coast, you're going to have pretty much northerly flow through the Bering Strait, and then YK Delta and the Bristol Bay region, northeasterly flow, basically offshore flow, and then stronger winds here, easterly 45 knots for the Pribilofs with that strong occluded system that's going to be approaching the southern Bering. For Sunday, the winds are going to be all northeasterly, colder air moving in, small craft winds, and then gale force as you get closer to the Pribilofs with a stronger system there. And then the Saturday for the Arctic coastline, pretty much all northwesterly flow, colder air, 10 knots throughout, and westerly through the Arctic coastline, and then northwest a little stronger through the Bering Strait. Sunday, same thing, westerly flow, pretty much 10-15 knots, and then northerly as you get through the Bering Strait. And then starting off with tonight's forecast, you have this low pressure system moving up through the east of the Seward Peninsula region with a weak stationary front extended into the just south of the eastern Arctic range there, coastline. And then that'll bring snow showers and northeasterly flow. Some blowing snow issues along the Seward Peninsula. And then the southeast, you're going to have the occluded low pressure system with that weak, strong southerly flow and rain with that. That's your forecast for tonight. See you tomorrow.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.